All right, today we on the show we have Jessica Carafiello. Jessica is a PGA member, LPGA member, and a club professional at Innis Arden Golf Club in Connecticut. Welcome.
Thank you, Doug. Thanks for having me.
Sure. So we just wanted to ask you some questions about a little your career, how you got to where you were, how golf has influenced your career, and just a little bit about your story.
Yeah, so I grew up a softball and a soccer player. Was kind of a natural born athlete and was always in the environment in which I got to compete. So eventually my grandfather, who was a scratch golfer, taught me how to play golf. And that led to a partial golf scholarship to Florida Atlantic University in Boca Raton, Florida. And my game has always kind of grown in stages or in steps. And by junior year, I realized that, I was getting pretty decent and maybe I'd try my hand at professional golf. So that first year when I graduated FAU in college, I was introduced to Bob Toski. And he has helped me certainly with my career as a professional golfer playing and competing in tournaments, but his impact was mainly on helping me to build a passion for teaching. And over the last 15, 20 years, I've continued to progress as both a player and an instructor now.
Awesome. And I know I've been lucky to be there for a few majors. You played in 5 major championships.
That's right.
Congrats. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about some insights you got from playing in some majors and competing against the best in the world, coming from growing up junior golf to college golf to being with the best.
Yeah. Well, first word that comes to mind is intimidating. So my first major was the US Open, and funny story, I walked into the physio van to do a little bit of stretching on one of the practice round days, and I took a step inside, and on one bed was Michelle Wee, and on the other bed getting stretched was Natalie Golbes. And I looked outside of the door on the side, the sign on the door, and said, am I in the right place here? These are the best players in the world right now. But in all honesty, as the stage gets grander, your comfort level changes. So when you start to play up a level, all of a sudden it's a new territory for you. And the more you put yourself in those conditions, under that environment, you learn and you begin to adapt. And now I go into majors feeling more prepared. I know what shots to work on leading up to the event. And I find different ways to get comfortable hitting shots when I'm uncomfortable. So one of the things that I've learned to do over the last few majors is to actually run to my tee ball. I'll hit my approach shot into the green, run to the green, and then putt. And the reason I do that is to hit shots with my heart pumping. So to try to create more competitive emotions while I'm practicing, because you can't get that when you're just playing with your buddies or out playing golf with the members. It's not the same adrenaline level. So that's one of the major things that I've done. And that has helped me to get more comfortable playing when I'm uncomfortable.
Awesome. That's a great tool. So I think that experience has definitely helped you from playing in, comparing yourself to maybe a club member to playing in a Monday event, a normal tournament, and then you're going to a major for them, playing with their friends compared to playing in a club tournament or their expectations. And have you seen anything in what you've learned with that to help convey to them how to help them practice or play the game?
Yeah, I think it's very important to always play up a level. And when for the junior golfers or even college golfers out there, or mini tour players, start to think about plan out at least a year ahead of time and select your highlight events, the ones that you really want to play the best in, maybe your majors, whether it's deemed a major or not, but what is a major event for you?
What's important for you, right?
Exactly. And what are the events leading up to that? How are you going to prepare? So for myself, it's not so much hitting a million golf balls on the range or hitting 500 3-footers. To me, it's playing, it's going through the process, it's going through the routine. Where does my routine alter when I'm out playing, when I get a little more uncomfortable over shots? How does my routine fluctuate, and just playing, getting more comfortable, hitting different shots, producing shots when I need to?
Awesome. And just a little insight when you felt like with your routine that led to some success, what anything that you've learned when the stage was grander that changed your routine, or what you did to maybe try to find
Ooh,
try to find it?
do I get fast? That first tee shot, oh my goodness, I get fast. And so what I try to do is be as slow as humanly possible. Feel like it's in slow motion. So one of the practice rounds, I think I've played now in the U.S. Open, two Wegmans, formerly Wegmans championships up in Rochester, and then two, which is now the KPMG Women's PGA Championship. And I played a practice round with uh, Lorena Ochoa the year that she was retiring. And during the practice round, that first tee was 5 deep. It was so intimidating. But what I noticed from her is that she did things what seemed really slowly, and I don't want to say meticulously, but carefully. She didn't just race to the tee, tee up the ball, and go. She stuck to her routine, her momentum.
Great. Yeah, I think most people don't realize as soon as that tee shot goes off, it's like the bell rings and you're on the clock. It's a race. If something happens with the group, a lost ball or a ball in the hazard, there's not much time. Like, you got to keep moving, and it's easy to fall back one pace as far as their standards, and then it throws you some more adversity with your game, trying to get your process dialed in.
Right. And that's where I think it's very important to have someone on your bag or someone walking alongside you. So many times you, Doug, have kept me just looking forward and staying patient while playing. And we had some really good events, and we've come close a number of times. Just silly things here and there, a bad kick or a power lip out that has prevented us from playing the weekend. But you and I have worked really well together, and I think that's important that each player, when you're allowed a caddy, that you have someone walk alongside you and someone that genuinely cares about your well-being.
Yeah, it's a team effort, right?
Totally.
And I think just as far as your career, you've surrounded yourself with some good people and learned along the way that team's important. And no matter what you're doing, it's good to have good people around you.
Oh, totally. And, I think one of the things, if looking back, if I were able to give some advice to a younger Jessica, I would have said, seek knowledge and seek help from others sooner. Surround yourself with people and a team that want to see you succeed and genuinely want to see you achieve your goals. And always be appreciative and grateful for those opportunities that are presented to you. Not everyone gets to play in the US Open. So appreciate the opportunity that you have in front of you.
Great, great. So you're a female in a kind of a male-dominated industry. What's that like for you? And any obstacles that are different than others, or what do you feel about that?
I am a golf professional. I'm a member of the PGA of America and the LPGA, and I happen to be a female.
Right? Awesome. Good answer.
Yes.
So let's talk about a little bit about your teaching. What is there some things that stand out to you that are very important? Because there's a lot of information out there, and how you kind of digest through your philosophies and get to what's important for teaching your students.
Right. So I started learning from Bob Toski, as I mentioned earlier. And more recently, over the last, excuse me, 4 or 5 years, I've started working with Mike Adams in both dynamics as a player and as a teacher. And he's taught me a lot about not guessing, about measuring, and how different elements of the golf swing, how one element will relate and affect another element of the golf swing, and what matches and what doesn't match. So it's been very helpful to continuously learn from the best teachers in the world.
Right. And I think you nailed it on the head. We're always trying to continuously learn and learning from others and trying just to pass the messages along and we all just do it a different way.
Right, exactly. And I don't know that there's a right or wrong way. Everyone has their own what they believe to be true. And in the grand scheme of things, we're all trying to help people play better golf so that they can enjoy it. I think some of the keys to that are for us to know different components of the golf swing and what matches, what doesn't, and to be able to communicate effectively. And communicating effectively does not mean saying the same thing to each student, X, Y, and Z, but maybe you have to approach it a little differently based on how they receive information. And sometimes you have to change what's comfortable to you to make sure that your student's getting the most out of their lessons.
Right. Absolutely. Everyone's picking up a little bit differently and we just got to adapt to how we're doing it.
Right?
So going forward, do you have any specific playing goals coming up the next couple of years that you want to accomplish? And I know you just got married, so that was congratulations, and that's
Thank
awesome.
you. Yes, thank you. I happen to have married a PGA professional as well, so that certainly helps my golf game. But
Yeah, free coaching.
I do. Don't worry, I cook the dinners for that. So looking forward, I play in the Met. I teach in the Met section, and it has a very strong playing component. And so I've played well in the Westchester Open. I would love to qualify for the New York State Open, which is played at Bethpage Black.
Awesome place.
Yeah, I was born in the state of New York in Westchester County, and it would mean a lot to be able to play in that event.
Let's do it.
Yes, working towards it every day.
There we go. Awesome. So that's kind of answers the questions that I had for you. Is there anything else that you wanted to maybe discuss to share?
No, I just have to say, Doug, I'm highly impressed with how you work every day to get a little bit better. How you're always influencing your fellow teachers, but also your students. And I think it's important for people to know that being there for your students isn't just a matter of giving them 1 hour lessons sporadically or even weekly, that it's checking up on them. It's knowing that they care, helping them get their college scholarships or guiding them in the right direction that is best for them. Might not be the shiniest option always, but helping people realize their potential. And I think you're doing a great job with that.
I really appreciate that. And I think most people make my job a little bit easier, and I appreciate them trusting me. And it's a teamwork, and there's lots of avenues to get there, and just try to help them, guide them in the direction that if I can't do it, maybe somebody else I know can.
That's right. That's right.
Well, I appreciate your time. And Jess, looking forward to talking to you soon.
My pleasure, Doug. All the best.